Hey guys, what's up? William Akio here, and in today's video I have Nik Ledgerwood, the Canadian international, 50 caps for Canada, and an 18-year-long career and counting. So he's going to be talking to you guys about his path, how he started, and kind of his story a little bit. And I was just basically asking him questions about everything along the way, so you guys can get a better insight at a professional career's life. I hope you guys are excited for this video. Please make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and let's get to it.
Hey guys, what's up? Willie Akio reached out to me and just asked if I could answer a few questions. He wanted to put some stuff together for his YouTube channel. More than happy to. My name is Nik Ledgerwood. I play soccer currently for the Cavalry of the CPL in Canada. I've had a 10-year-long stint with the Canadian men's national team, as well as most of my career has been over in Germany. So I think there's about 6 questions here. I'll get into as much detail as I can about it, and hopefully it's what you guys are looking for. So here you go. To kind of summarize how it was, I left Canada when I was 18 to move over to Germany after a few trials. One at Bayern Munich, Borussia Mönchengladbach, and 1860 Munich. All were in the first Bundesliga at the time. I got offered a contract at 1860 Munich. I landed it there when I was 18 and was a part of the youth academy. So the contract was a two-year contract with a 2-year option, which allowed me to go through the youth academy. And if I made the following steps, then I would get the following 2-year options, trying to be in the reserve team and trying to push into the first team, and that's exactly what happened. So I ended up staying with 1860 Munich for 6 years. Was probably one of the best places to be as a player growing up. Their youth academy is full of players that have made it through into the German national team, Austrian national team. The likes of the Bender twins that played for Dortmund are now with Leverkusen. We're part of it. Julian Baumgartlinger, who is now with Leverkusen as well, the captain of Austria. So a lot of big names that at the same time was building their potential of being a soccer player the exact same time I was. So it was guys like that I was learning from. And just kind of growing up with while I was over there, going through the same struggles. Obviously mine was a little bigger, being so far from home, just kind of being thrown in the deep end pretty much. I didn't speak the language before I went over, didn't know much about the culture, and pretty much you just get thrown in and you have to survive. There's so much talent over there, and I think what people don't understand is if you miss a day, you miss a week, there's hundreds of kids or talented soccer players over there that are willing to take your spot in an instant. So for me, it was the battle every week just to keep performing. And I think that's a lot of things that Canadians or North Americans don't understand is the competition over there for spots is so fierce that you almost lose that friendship within teams, because the guy that's sitting to the left of you or the guy that's sitting right in the locker room, he's fighting for your spot, and it's not about friendship. He wants to make a living out of it. He wants to earn money. And in Germany, the bonus structure for games, and if you play, if you win, if you get promoted, it's such a big bonus structure that guys are so hungry for that success, or that bread to put on their table, that they'll do anything. And it's where I learned that it's that discipline and that fight to win mentality that you need to have that to survive over there. And and I learned how to survive over there. I spent 12 years of my career over in Germany, a year and a half in Sweden, in Stockholm playing, before I moved back home. So now, as I get older and a little more experience, I guess, in my career and wanting to move closer to home, I'm now a huge part of this growth that's becoming in Canada soccer with the CPL. It's our first real professional domestic league across Canada. And the motto of it is by Canadians for Canadians, and that's exactly what I want to promote, is something that I never had growing up, and something that I needed to move overseas to accomplish was professional soccer in your own backyard. Growing up, it was always chasing the dream of how do I get overseas? How do I get to a proper environment where I can dig into my potential as a good player. And that's all it was when I was in Canada. It was potential. This player has potential. He could be good if he was in the right environment, in the right atmosphere, if he had the right coaches, training. Those were all the excuses. So I think now being a part of the CPL has given me the opportunity to help mentor younger kids coming through and to allow them to see the dream of becoming a professional soccer player without having to leave Canada or without having to leave North America. We now have the infrastructure here in Canada to stay in Canada and to be able to play in front of your family, or to hone your talent in front of your family and friends, and play in these stadiums where you grow up. And there's a sense of pride doing that, as opposed to going overseas where nobody knows you. You're the new kid on the block. I think a lot of kids now see the dream becoming a reality here in Canada, where you get that media attention, you get the scouts looking at you from the MLS. Even overseas, there's been some moves. It's building up the fan base here in Canada. So for me to be the ambassador type player in the CPL, the captain of the Cavalry, it's a great honor, and it's part of the reason why I moved back to Canada, is that I want to help move this game of soccer in the right direction, the direction that it should be going in such an amazing country that we have like Canada. So it's a good question. Just asking about my time with the Canadian national team and what it feels like to represent your country on a global stage. Unfortunately, my time with the national team's over as I become older, and a bunch of new young faces now make their mark with the national team here in Canada. But being a part of a national team is something that, a soccer player at the highest level in your country, that's the highest level you can achieve, is putting on that men's national team jersey and being a part of that small group of players that is called upon every few months to represent the country. Unfortunately, we never made it to a World Cup, but some of the games along the way, some of the environments that we had to play in Honduras, Panama, some of the World Cup qualifying matches in front of 40, 50, 60,000 people, even some of the friendly games that we were able to play in away in Argentina, in Buenos Aires, against some of the great players when Diego Maradona was the coach for that short reign. These are all memories that I would have never gotten if I wasn't a soccer player. The opportunity to travel the world and see the world in a different view as a soccer player, and that's something that nobody can take away from me. And I think that's a goal and a dream that all soccer players have, no matter what country you're from, is one day you want to put on that jersey, that flag of your country where you were born or where you represent. It gives you a special feeling of pride when you stand out there and sing the national anthem, and that you're representing your friends, your family, your neighbors, everybody that you grew up with. So there's definitely some unbelievable memories growing up. I remember my first cap was away in Iceland, in Reykjavik, when I played my first time with the Canadian team. I was 21, and pretty much it was there 21 on about 11 years was my stint with the Canadian national team. So I made 50 caps over that time. and just the life lessons you learn from different pros that are coming in from different environments all the time. You know, everybody's sharing their stories of what's going on in their clubs, and you know, how their experiences have changed them, what's good, what tips do they have. And you know, as a young player, you just soak it in like a sponge. You know, different coaches, obviously you take the bits and pieces from every coach that you think you'll need to succeed. And you know, the coaches that you know don't get along with, or you have that little bit of controversy with, or you know, you disagree with what their philosophy is, you know, that's their philosophy. At the end of the day, as a player, you're there to fulfill their tactical philosophy, or their you know, how they want to play as a player. So I think a lot of players get discouraged when, you know, a coach comes in and doesn't believe in them, or doesn't want them as part of the team. You're there as a player, and you're part of their selection. And you know, at the end of the day, it's not going to last forever. But you know, I always tell younger players, you have to do it for you. You have to show up every day and want to improve for you, because you're going to be around for as long as you want to be around as a player. And I think, you know, I'm moving on to my, 18th season as a professional. And it's, you know, because I've taken the positives from every coach that I've had, and the opportunity to be with the national team is one that has made me grow as a player substantially, and that's what I'll never regret. So kind of going off from that last question of, you know, being 35 now, obviously seeing the game in a different perspective as you get older. You know, the question is, how do you stay at a top level when you start getting older, when you start getting into your 30s, or, you know, even older? I think it's kind of crazy how the world of football seems to think as soon as you hit 30, you're starting to get old. And it's funny, if you go into a little bit more details and you see some of these players, and they're still peaking well into their 30s, mid 30s. You see Ronaldo, Zlatan, some of these, you know, still world class players are still peaking well into their 30s. And I think it's all how you take care of your body. I'll tie this in with the next question, because the next question is some tips that I would give to younger players, or things that I wish I knew when I was younger, or just starting off my career, going through, you know, the stages of being in your first professional team or trying out for teams. I think this kind of goes hand in hand, but, you know, to stay fit and healthy when you're 35, or to still have that drive and that mentality, it's all about how you set up your life, your goals, your aspirations, what you really want out of the sport. What do you want the sport to give back to you as a soccer player? And I have so much love and passion for the sport that, you know, for me to think that, you know, I'm going to retire or get away from the game, I've loved soccer for my whole life, for 30 plus years. And then to say, you know, maybe I won't do those extra runs, maybe I won't, you know, stay on my diet plan or stay healthy, for what? This is what makes me extremely happy. This is what gives me that drive every day to be around a great group of guys, to have a fulfilling career, to have something that makes me happy at the end of the day. And, you know, I think players need to stay true to themselves. And I think, you know, a lot of things that I wish I knew when I was growing up was it's all about the details. You know, it's all about what you put in your body, the food, the snacks, you know, the hydration after training, you know, after games, how are you replenishing everything you've lost? It's all those little things. Are you stretching afterwards? Are you going in to do that extra workout? It's all in the details. And that's what's going to set you apart from everybody else. It's what's going to set you apart from being average. So if there was anything that, you know, I wish I knew when I was growing up, it was, you know, maybe pay a little bit more attention to all the details. You know, people have physios and fitness trainers and assistant coaches there. Reach out to them and you know, and talk to them, get some help, because those are the things that help. Try to have a plan, a routine, write down, be accountable for stuff. You know, the other day I heard one of the greatest, you know, tips or, you know, helping points, and it's to be accountable for yourself. You know, write stuff down, have a routine that you want to do every day, or have a routine what you want to do before training, after training, you know, on game day, so you know what works for you. And it doesn't matter if you have a good game, a bad game, you know that the routine works for you and you stick to that. And I think, you know, a lot of players believe, you know, when things are going good, you don't have to do the extra stuff. But, you know, it can just as quickly turn and go the opposite way. So, you know, find that routine that works and stick with it. So here we go. Last question for today. It's, you know, what does the meaning of sacrifice mean in soccer? What does sacrifice mean to me in soccer? I think a lot of people have different assumptions of what this means, and you know, for me, it's a change of lifestyle. Like I said, when I was 17, I had to leave my family, my friends. I had a very comfortable life in Canada. Things were very well for me, but I sacrificed all that because I had a dream, and I wanted to go chase it and see how far I could go with it. So moved to Germany, a completely new environment, culture, language, routine, everything. You know, I was thrown into a German language school every day for 4 hours until I picked up the language, and we would train in the evenings. I think some of that has to do with sacrifice, but as long as you see sacrifice towards your goals or your dream, it's not a hard sacrifice to make. It's one you're willing to make because you know it's going to make you happy at the end of the day. You know, the little sacrifices that you have to make before you actually go professional. You know, maybe it's not going to those parties on the weekend. Maybe it's not, you know, going to the movies and eating your popcorn. Maybe it's putting in another session. Maybe it's doing the extra work. Maybe it's doing a little bit of research on you know, what the best post-game meals are for you. Digging into stuff like that. I think sacrifice is, you know, not the normality in kids growing up. You have to be willing to not enjoy all the fun freedom that we get here in Canada or North America growing up. If you want to make something of yourself, if you want to be that extra, that 1% who makes it as a professional soccer player, then you have to be extraordinary. You have to be willing to do stuff that your other teammates aren't going to do. You know, no matter what team you're playing for, if you're just doing everything what all your other teammates are doing, you're not going to make it further than them. So what's going to set you apart from them? You know, you have to do the little extra stuff. You know, there's thousands of quotes that you can get motivated from. You know, during the quarantine time. Right now, there's some great documentaries out. The MJ documentary that's been released. You know, if you look at the sacrifices that Michael Jordan made during his career to become the best basketball player in the world, you know, those are sacrifices. Those are stuff you need to make if you want to stand out at the end of the day, if you want to build a legacy for yourself or become a legend. You know, those are the things that need to be done. So I think, you know, a lot of people that live in a comforting lifestyle don't really know what a sacrifice is. It hurts. You know, sacrifices hurt. You know, it might make you cry. You might be upset. You might, you know, want to turn back. But at the end of the day, if you reach that goal, it'll all be worth it. And you know, even if you don't make that ultimate goal, you know, you'll get close to it, and the lessons you'll learn along the way will be, you know, invaluable. So that's a sacrifice. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it wasn't too long. So make sure you subscribe. to Willie's YouTube channel here. He's a good friend of mine. He's doing his thing down in the States right now, so just everybody keep safe during these crazy times, and hopefully things get back to normality here and we can get back out on the pitch and enjoy that team atmosphere sooner rather than later. So enjoy. Thank you very much for your time. Take care, guys.
All right, guys, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much, Nick, for speaking to us today about your life, your journey, and, throwing out some tips there that we can keep to ourselves and we can keep through our journey of hopefully becoming a professional soccer player one day. If you guys like this video, please make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and keep sharing this video. If you guys have any other questions, concerns, something else you would like to see, message me personally, message down in the comments. I'll answer everything, and I love to hear these things from you guys. Anyways, make sure you guys are staying determined, driven, and disciplined in your goals every single day. Don't forget those 3 Ds. And I'm going to catch up with you guys next time. Thank you so much. Peace out.